What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Yuki Mirai, signing in live. I hope you're having a great day so far. It's Tuesday, February 21st, 2017, and today I'll be talking about my marijuana addiction. First off, I would like to start this video with a disclaimer. Do not do anything illegal unless it's under doctor supervision. Actually, I think it's legal in California now, if I'm not mistaken, but if you're in states like North Dakota or something, I don't know if it's legal or illegal over there, but yeah, make sure you have doctor supervision before you do anything illegal in your state, alright? So, yeah, marijuana. I feel like marijuana was kind of like the devil on the shoulder, tapping me and reeling me back every time. And the time that I smoked the heaviest was definitely in my middle school to about the first half of my high school days. So I would say I started around 7th grade. You know, my neighbor and I used to, you know, pick up like sacks and smoke out of his bong and whatnot. And you know, 7th, 8th grade, and 9th grade were definitely my heaviest years, and I struggled a lot with it. I would go behind my parents' back and, you know, smoke, and you know, I was belligerent, you know, and yeah, it was a struggle that I had throughout. You know, I would go to school high, I would be at home high. You know, I was high 24/7. So, you know, I didn't really know what reality was because I was always constantly high. And another thing I want to point out is I have nothing against marijuana use or anybody that smokes it. I feel like everybody is entitled to their own decisions. But me personally, it affected me in a negative way. And I noticed that once I actually cut it out of my life. So a couple things that I noticed, you know, when I'm high and I'm constantly smoking is that I'm a lot more lazy. My diet gets tanked, you know, they call it the munchies, and you know, I would eat everything in sight. Like, man, you take me to Denny's if I'm high, I order the whole damn menu: pancakes, hash browns, you know, buttermilk pancakes, the omelets, all that. And you know, I seem to never get full, so you know, the weight would add on. I would be lazy, unproductive. I didn't want to do anything. Another thing that was huge for me was that I would get super paranoid, you know. You can't take me outdoors if I was high. Like, I always felt like everybody was looking at me when I don't know if you guys can relate, but when I was high, I felt like everybody was looking at me. But in reality, everybody was worrying about themselves and nobody was looking at me. But it felt like everybody was looking at me and the eyes were on me. Like, I remember vividly, like this one time I went to it was my sophomore year in high school. I went to class super high, and you know when, like, in the morning where everybody's talking and stuff, getting ready to go to class before first period, and you know, the hallways in between class. So I was walking down the hallways with my buddy, and you know, I felt like I was in a movie set. Like, I was walking, and I was like, oh my God, like, everybody's looking at me right now. This is so uncomfortable. I do not like this. And yeah, those are some of the things that kind of affected me negatively when I was smoking marijuana or weed, very much. Yeah, the paranoia, the munchies were just uncontrollable. It's just like, if you've never smoked marijuana, you probably don't understand, like, how hungry you get, and you tend to crave, like, bad food. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to eat my healthy meals. It's like ice cream. The first thing that pops up in my mind: ice cream, pancakes, you know, cookies, muffins, all that. So yeah, ever since I've cut it out of my life, I've noticed a drastic change in terms of, you know, my mental clarity, my positive outlook on life, more alert, more attentive, more forward moving, none of the paranoia that used to come. So yeah, overall great benefits. But I know people who, you know, smoke marijuana and could function totally normally, and sometimes it even enhances their, you know, mental alertness and their cognitive thinking, and they could perform even better. So if that's one of you, then, you know, I have no problem with it. This is not a video to bash on people that do, you know, take part in those activities. This is just sharing my personal experience and how I kind of, you know, got rid of it out of my life and how I, you know, overcame my addiction. So let's get into how I overcame my addiction now. So like I said, I've been smoking fat 7th grade to about mid 10th grade-ish, you know, and finally cut it out of my life. So it was a certain point where it was like a breaking point. So I used to live so I live in Torrance, right? There's West Torrance, there's South Torrance, there's North Torrance, and there's Central Torrance. So I lived in Central Torrance for a good half of my years. And before, I would say my 8th grade year, my family ended up moving to West Torrance. So we moved, right? So I had to get a whole new set of friends, blah, blah, blah. And then my neighbor at the time when I was living in Central Torrance, that was who I was primarily smoking the most marijuana with. So, you know, my parents knew that. You know, they've actually caught me. And so they knew the fact that if I was hanging out with this particular dude, then I would be smoking marijuana. So they tried to, at one point, you know, we were hanging out in front of his house and just hanging out with a couple friends, talking and whatnot, you know, and then my parents showed up and then they didn't want me hanging out with this dude anymore. So they kind of were like, hey, come here. And I was, you know, me being, you know, the 8th grader, you know, stubborn, I was like, no, no, no. And I didn't want to look bad in front of my friends. So my parents kind of like pulled me away and they're like, you're never going to hang out with that dude again. And out of the humility and whatnot, I was mad at them, didn't talk to them for like a week. And my dad kind of felt bad because, you know, those were my friends for a good years now, my best friends for a good years now. So my dad came home with my now cat. He was like, this dude's name was Matt, right? So then my dad came home with the cat. He's like, no Matt, but you could have a cat. It was some funny stuff. And then my cat's name is Minnie. She's actually one of my favorite pets right now. I have 2 dogs and 3 cats. So Minnie is my homegirl and I love her. So that's a little funny story. That's kind of how I overcame it. And after that, you know, I would smoke occasionally at like social events, you know, gatherings, whatnot. But, you know, it was never like permanent, like I needed it in my life. So yeah, I feel like a lot of times, and you know, when you're addicted to certain substances, when you're, you know, dependent on certain things, I feel like there has to be some type of breaking point to where, you know, something really bad happens, or, you know, your health is, you know, on jeopardy, or, you know, somebody important in your life tells you that blah, 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 and you have to quit. So that was kind of my breaking point, you know. I moved over to West Torrance and, you know, started surrounding myself with, you know, positive influences, you know, and then I started wrestling in high school. So the smoking weed and marijuana obviously didn't coincide with my athletics, you know, because my lungs would get decapitated and whatnot. I'm not saying that I wasn't having fun in high school, you know, I was having a lot of fun in high school, but it wasn't like a daily activity. It was kind of just like social gatherings, whatnot. So yeah, and at this particular moment, you know, I haven't touched marijuana for a few years now, and you know, not even at social gatherings, and I never crave it. So yeah, just any of you guys going through, you know, certain things, if you feel like you're dependent on things, if you feel like you're reliant, and if you feel like you can't back off of any, you know, a substance or an external, you know, like alcohol, whatnot, just know that you can do it. You know what I mean? Just know that it's all up here. You know, addiction is in the mind, you know? It's just a false story that we create in our head, you know? And whatever addiction you may be going through, whatever substance that you're, you know, reliant on, just know that you don't need that to be happy. That shouldn't be your source of happiness. That shouldn't be who you are, you know what I mean? It shouldn't change your personality because this one day you weren't high, so you feel, you know, insignificant or different. And that shouldn't be your badge of, you know, confidence, or your badge of personality, or your badge of, you know, badge of honor, in a sense. So yeah, I mean, I'm currently living sober right now. You know, I would have a few drinks, you know, once in a while when I go out with friends and whatnot, but mainly, you know, sober, and, you know, I'm loving life. More mental clarity, you know, more positive thinking, more, you know, forward outlook on life. I feel like I just want to get stuff done, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's about it for my story of, you know, my marijuana journey and how I overcame it. So I hope this could help even one person out there. And yeah, if you're going through any kind of addiction, you can get through it. And I'm here for you, baby. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video, comment below what you think, and subscribe to my channel for more great videos. Check you guys next time. Yuki Mirai, signing out.